It's like a cheerleading spider pyramid. Hi guys, it's Katie from Yarn Society, and today we're going to be crocheting Sharlotte the Spider. She was born when my daughter had a fear of spiders. I made this super cutie to show her that spiders weren't scary, and it totally worked. Spiders are now her friends. So that's a mom win for me. I'm releasing the spider now because I thought it would be a really cute Halloween idea as well, and I'm going to post a picture up here that will show you how you can make her more Halloween-y. So we're going to go through supplies and then we'll get started making Sharlotte the Spider. For supplies, I used a chainette yarn by Lion Brand, and I really like this yarn for this pattern, but you don't have to use it. It's just a really soft, nice yarn, but you can use any type of worsted. And then I have a D 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. You can also use a C, a E. It really doesn't matter. Use what you have at home. If you don't have a D, use an E. It's not a big deal. I'll also have a yarn needle, some scissors. I grab a few stitch markers. And then for her eyes, we just embroidered on with some black thread and a needle. And then grab some stuffing because we will need that as well. I also like to use pins for assembly, and this is actually my pin cushion. So if you are looking for a pin cushion, this is a great pattern to make for that. So one more thing that this is totally optional is for the legs. If you want a fluffier look, I grabbed this brush. I believe it's a cat brush. It's called Magic Coat. You can get them on Amazon. I'll link one down below, and you can just brush out the legs, and we will do that later on in the video. Okay, we're gonna get started with the pattern. So I have my D hook, my yarn, and I have a stitch marker. For round one, we are gonna start by making 4 single crochet into a magic circle. Feel free to do a magic circle however you'd like. For today, I'm gonna make a slip knot, and then we're gonna do a chain. So I'm gonna wrap the yarn around 2 fingers. I'm gonna hold it with my ring finger. I'm gonna push that back piece to the front and then pull up on that piece. This will make my loop. I have a tail here where I can adjust my loop. I'm going to insert my hook and then tighten it around my hook. I'm going to get set up with my yarn and chain 2. So yarn over and pull through, that's chain 1. Yarn over and pull through, chain 2. We are going to make 4 single crochet into that second chain from the hook, and it's this one here. Place your hook underneath that top chain, and we are going to make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. And I have a video on a single crochet if you need that in the description box below. Go through the same loop once again and make a second single crochet. Go through the same stitch and make your 3rd single crochet, and then go in there one more time and make a single crochet. Now we have 4 single crochets. I'm just going to tighten this up, and then I'm going to fan out my stitches a little bit. When we work with smaller stitches, things kind of tend to close in on us a little bit. We're going to count our stitches here. We have our first V-stitch, our second, our 3rd, and our 4th. And then because we made a slip knot, we have this little bit of yarn here that we're just going to pass right over. I'm going to mark my stitch with a stitch marker. I like to mark my last stitch of the round, but if you like to mark your first stitch, do what you're comfortable with. For round 2, we're going to go into that first stitch right here. We are going to make 1 single crochet into this stitch. Then we're going to move over to the next stitch, and we're going to make a 3 single crochet into that stitch. So here is single crochet 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to move over a stitch and make 1 single crochet. And then we'll move over to our last stitch, and we're going to make 3 single crochet into that stitch. Two and 3. From here, I'm going to change my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to tighten up my magic circle. At the end of round 2, you'll have 8 stitches, so go ahead and count that. For round 3, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to make 1 single crochet into that first stitch, And then we're going to make 3 single crochet into the next, and we're just going to repeat that pattern. So here is 1 single crochet, move over and make 3 single crochet into that stitch. We have 1, 2, and 3. Move over, make 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, you'll make 3 single crochet. This is 1, 2, and 3. Move over for 1 single crochet. Move over to place 3 single crochet. Here is 1, 2, and 3. Move over for 1 single crochet, and then place 3 single crochet into your last stitch. We're going to change our stitch marker. At the end of round 3, you'll have 16 stitches. Go ahead and tighten up that magic circle for the last time. For round 4, we are going to make a single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to put 3 single crochets into this corner stitch. We're trying to make a square shape. So we have single crochet 1 in the first stitch, move over and make your second single crochet. Now make 3 single crochets into your next stitch. Here is 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to make a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here is single crochet 1, move over, 2, move over for your third single crochet. Now we're going to make 3 single crochet into that corner stitch. And now we're going to make a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So here is 1, move over, 2, and then 3. Make 3 single crochet into that corner stitch. And then we'll make a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Make 3 single crochet into your corner stitch. And then we're going to end with 1 single crochet. Change your stitch marker. At the end of this round, you'll have 24 stitches. For round 5, we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then we'll put 3 in our corner stitch. Here is single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and single crochet 3, and then we'll put 3 in our corner stitch. Then we're going to make a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we'll make 3 in our corner stitch. Make a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll make 3 in that corner. Make a single crochet in your next 5 stitches. And 5, and then we'll end here with 3 single crochet into your corner stitch, and then we'll make a single crochet in the next 2. So here is single crochet 1, back to the same stitch 2, and 3, and then we're going to make a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. You can change your stitch marker. At the end of round 5, we'll have 32 stitches. I'm just going to show you here how to count your rounds just in case you are starting out. And here we have our really nice boxy shape going. Here is round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we'll be starting on round 6. For round 6, we're going to make a single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4, and then you can make 3 single crochet into our corner stitch. Make a single crochet into the next 7 stitches. Here is single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to make 3 single crochet into our corner stitch. Single crochet into the next 7 stitches. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Place 3 single crochet into that corner stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Make a single crochet in the next 7 stitches. Here's single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Make 3 single crochet into that corner stitch. And then we're going to end with a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. From here, we're going to change our stitch marker. We'll have 40 stitches. Definitely make sure you count to make sure you have 40 at this point. Moving on to round 7, we are going to single crochet into the back loop only. So here's both loops. This one is the front loop, the one towards us, and we're going to be going underneath the back loop, the one away from us. So insert your hook and continue to single crochet all the way around for 40 stitches. Thank you guys for joining me on this crochet along. I am in love with this spider. I am not in love with attaching all her feet, but I am in love with the way she turned out. She's one of my favorites, and I know I say that a lot, but she really, really is one of my favorites. I know I showed a picture of the Halloween version that I did, and I just want to pop it up here again for you to see. This is made in a We Crochet comfy worsted yarn, so don't worry if you don't have this fluffy chainette yarn. This is how it looks with the worsted weight yarn, and it brushed out just fine. I just brushed out the feet a little bit. I didn't make it as fluffy as I did in the original one, so just know you can use any kind of yarn. If you want to use an acrylic yarn, that's fine too. She looks cute in anything. So keep single crocheting all the way around. Speaking of Halloween, I just made a ton of Halloween candy bags for the kids. Last year I didn't do anything because of the pandemic. I didn't know what to do. And this year I decided, because last year everybody was doing bags, and I thought it was genius. I was a little late to that party. So this year I made a ton of bags with some fun stuff in it besides candy to kind of make up for last year. So you have to let me know what you're doing in the comments below. Okay, so we're reaching our last stitch here. Okay, when we're done, we're going to change our stitch marker, and we are going to have 40 stitches still. From round 8 through 15, we're just going to be single crocheting under both loops. So here, we're just going to continue to single crochet from round 8 through 15. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to use for counting rounds when we do so many in a row. I do about 4 single crochet, and then I grab another stitch marker and I place it on my stitch horizontally, so I know that I'm marking my round 8. Then I'm going to continue to crochet all the way around. and then I'll show you how it looks when we reach the end of this round. Okay, I'm reaching the end of round 8. I'm going to finish it up here. I'm going into the stitch with my stitch marker. I'm going to change my stitch marker. I still have 40 stitches. And now I'm going to continue with round 9. It's okay if things start flipping in on you, just make sure you flip it back out. For round 9, continue to single crochet. I'm going to show you here, I'm going to do a few stitches. And this stitch marker on the round just really helps to not have to go back to the beginning to count. So here we know that this is round 8, the one that we marked. And then we're starting round 9, and then we'll just continue to go up. So we have 8, 9, continue to crochet 10, 11 through 15. And then we'll meet back at the end of round 15. Make sure that you have 40 stitches for each round, and then we will meet back. I am reaching my last few stitches of round 15, so I'm just going to finish up here. We are going to change our stitch marker, and we're still going to have 40 stitches. Starting round 16, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do an invisible decrease. I will link my video down below, and I go really slow in that video, so feel free to watch that first. But we're going to make a decrease, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to go under the front loop of my first stitch, under the front loop of my second. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. I'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And that is my first decrease. I'm going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to make my second decrease. I'm going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. And then we have our third decrease. We're going to single crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then we have our fourth decrease. Single crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, and 3. Here is our fifth decrease. We're doing 8 total. Single crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's our 6th decrease. Single crochet in the next 3. Here is our 7th decrease. And then we'll single crochet in the next 3. Here is our 8th and final decrease, and then we'll single crochet in the last 3. At the end of round 16, you can change your stitch marker. We're going to have 32 stitches. We're going to take a little break here and embroider on the eyes. So leave a good amount of working yarn and then put a stitch marker on there just so we don't lose our spot. On to embroidering the eyes. Go ahead and grab a long piece of embroidery floss. I'm just using black, and then make a few knots on the end. We're going to place a pin between round 12 and 13, and I know that right after this ridge is round 7. So we're going to count round 7, round 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So I'm going to place a pin between round 12 and 13. I'm going to grab another pin and just make sure that I'm pretty centered here. And it looks pretty good. I'm just going to kind of scooch it over a little bit. Now I'm going to count 4 stitches over. This is second, my third, and then my fourth. I'm going to place my pin into that 4th stitch. This is where I'm going to start my embroidery on my eye, and I'm going to move in towards the other pin. So these pins can get a little crazy. hurt myself quite a few times. So take out this middle one and then flip your piece inside out. We want to make a knot on the inside of the head to secure this embroidery floss, so grab a piece of yarn on the inside of the head and pull it all the way through until you're knot. Go through a different piece of the same piece, it doesn't really matter. Pull it all the way through until you have a loop on the end. You want to go behind this loop and you just want to make a knot. Feel free to make another one just to make sure that you are very secure, but for video's sake, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to go up through that stitch, the one that I have pinned. So I'm going to find that stitch with my needle. I'm going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to move up one round and then over one stitch and place my needle from front to back. Go ahead and pull that all the way through. Now I'm going to skip a stitch and I'm going to go into the next stitch over from inside the head coming out. So pull that through and then you're going to go right back through that same stitch on top. And pull that all the way through. Your first eye is now done. I do like to add eyelashes, but if you don't, you can just skip over that part, but I will show you how I add a few. I go up through that corner stitch, the same one that we already made. I pull it all the way through, and then I just go up around and just kind of find a spot in the middle. Embroidery is not my forte, so if you know a better way, feel free. We're going to go back up through that corner stitch again, and I'm just going to move up a little bit just to make one more little eyelash. Our eyelashes are done, and we're going to move on to the next eye. Now we want to grab another pin, and we are going to count and place that pin in the 6th stitch over. Once you have that pin in there, we are going to place our needle up through that stitch so that we can start our second eye. We're going to go up around and over one stitch and then place your needle through that stitch and go down into the head. Now we want to leave one stitch open next to the eye, and then we'll go inside the head out through that stitch. Go up through your same stitch you already made and pull that all the way through. To add an eyelash, go back through the corner stitch, and then you can go up around and over a bit, and then you can go back up through the same stitch and make your second eyelash. Okay, from here it looks pretty good. I want to secure this yarn, so go ahead and flip your head inside out again and then grab a piece of yarn on the inside. Pull your needle all the way through, leave a loop at the end, and then go behind your loop to secure a knot. I'm just going to do this one more time to make a knot. Once you're finished, you can just cut off this little piece and leave it inside. We're going to start on round 17, so take out that extra stitch marker and then go ahead and get set up. For round 17, we're going to make one decrease, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we'll repeat this 8 times around. So here is decrease 1, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, decrease 2, single crochet in the next 2. Here is another decrease, single crochet in the next 2, and I'm going to let you guys count from here, making 1 decrease and single crocheting in the next 2. Here's our last decrease, ending with 2 single crochet. Change your stitch marker. At the end of this round, you'll have 24 stitches. We're going to take a quick pause to stuff our heads, so grab your other stitch marker again and secure your working yarn, and then grab a handful of your stuffing. Begin to stuff your head, but don't stuff too much because we still need to crochet a few more rounds. We're going to add a little as we go. I like to make a hole in my stuffing. We also want to make sure that we keep the head flat. We don't want to round it out too much unless you like that look. If you like that look, go ahead. I have this funny bit of yarn here, so it kind of looks like a little beauty mark or something. When you're happy with your stuffing, we're going to take out our stitch marker and move on to round 18. Round 18, we're going to make a decrease and then 1 single crochet. We're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Here is our decrease, and then a single crochet, and then make a decrease and a single crochet all the way around. Once you add your stuffing, things get a little bit harder to hold, so just take your time and go slow at this point. Here's a decrease and then a single crochet, and I'm going to let you guys count until the end of the row. Reaching the end of this round, we will have 16 stitches. I'm going to secure this again. I'm going to add just a little bit more stuffing into this middle piece here that I have, this middle hole. I feel like when you make the hole, it avoids the lumps. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I don't really have lumpy amigurumi, so I think it works. I know some people take small bits and add that as they go, but that just never worked well for me. So burrowing my little hole in the middle just kind of really helps keep things smooth. We're not going to add any more stuffing after this round, so make sure that you're happy with how much stuffing you have in your spider. Once you're happy with your stuffing, we're going to get set up again. And for round 19, it's our last round, we're going to make decreases all the way around. So we're going to have 8 decreases total. So here's a decrease and another one, and so we're just going to do that all the way around. Here is decrease 1, decrease 2, and then continue to decrease all the way around. Making our last decrease here, we are done. So we want to leave a long tail to fasten off, and then we want to close up this little hole we have. So leave a long tail. Cut that piece, and then we're going to fasten off. Yarn over and pull your yarn all the way through. Give that a little tug at the end. Weave in your yarn needle, and then we're going to close up this piece here. We're going to count. Here is our fastened off bit. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our 8th stitch is right here. We're going to place our yarn needle behind that front loop, and then we're going to pull our needle all the way through towards us. Turn your work as you go behind the front loop and pull that through. This is stitch 2. Go behind for stitch 3. Here's stitch 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we are going to close up this hole, but keep an eye right in the middle because we need to insert our needle back through there. So close it up, and I see my hole here. I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit more, and then I'm going to place my needle right through that hole. You can see that if you place your needle somewhere in that vicinity, it will start to open up a little bit. Now weave your yarn through and give it a tug, and then you kind of want to smooth it back out. And that's a nice finish on your amigurumi piece. Weave your yarn tail in really well, and then just cut off the excess yarn. And her head / body, because she's a spider, is done. We're going to move on to the legs next. We're going to get started on the legs, so I am going to make 4 single crochet into a magic circle. So I'm going to make my slip knot again. I'm going to go a little bit quicker this time. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to make 4 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And feel free to make a magic circle whichever way is your most favorite. I'm going to close up my hole, and then I'm going to fan out my stitches a little bit and grab a stitch marker. For round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch around. So here I have 4 stitches. Here's 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip that little bit there from the slip knot, and then we're going to make 2 single crochets into that same stitch. That's what an increase is. Here is our first one. Going back to the same stitch, here's our second one. Then we're going to move to the next stitch, and we're going to make 2 single crochet into that stitch. Then we're going to move over and make an increase in the next stitch, 2 single crochet, and then move over to your last stitch, and you'll make 2 single crochet into that stitch as well. Tighten up that magic circle, change your stitch marker, and the end of this round you'll have 8 stitches. For round 3 and round 4, we're just going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches all the way around. So just go underneath both loops and single crochet. This one is considered the short legs, and we will crochet 2 of these, and then I will talk you through how we crochet the medium legs and the long legs. Okay, from here my work's turning in on itself because we're using such small stitches. So make sure to turn it back out so the right way is facing you. Go ahead and change your stitch marker. You're still going to have 8 stitches. For round 4, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. I'm going to change my stitch marker at the end of round 4. We'll still have 8 stitches. For round 5, we are going to make a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to make a decrease, and then we're going to continue with some single crochet. So in the first stitch, make a single crochet, move over, make a single crochet, and then we're going to make 2 decreases. So make your first decrease, then make your second, and then single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Okay, this little bit of yarn is going to get in my way, so I'm just going to take a second and shove that guy in there. A sharp pair of scissors, the end of them are really helpful when you're trying to do something like this. Okay, so now we're going to have 6 stitches. Change your stitch marker. For round 6 and round 7, we are going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And then that's essentially our leg. That will be it. So we're going to work on round 6 here, going all the way around, single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And then from here we can change our stitch marker, and this is our last round. We're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches. These smaller stitches get a little bit tougher to crochet in, but just take your time and go slow. So here I am making my last stitch. I'm going to leave a really long tail for assembly. I'm going to get set up again. I'm going to yarn over and pull my yarn all the way through. When we fasten off, we have this little edge right here in our work. So what I like to do is grab my yarn needle, and we are just going to make a small adjustment. I do like to sew my pieces shut, but you do not have to do that if you don't like to. So here I'm just going to go into my next stitch for my fasten off, and from inside out I'm just going to pull that piece in. Okay, for our legs we do this decrease on round 5, and it's very subtle, so if you don't see it, it's really not a big deal, but we will be having that decrease on the bottom. So his feet kind of look like they have this little indentation. And if you can't see it, again, do not worry about it, but I just wanted to point that out for assembly. Here, I just like to close my pieces shut, so I'm just gonna go under like a stitch, or probably 2 on this leg, and I just like to go back and forth, and that just makes things a little bit easier for me when I assemble. And so that's it. That's one of the small legs. You're gonna stop the video and make one more small leg. I should say short leg. So this is the shorty. This is only up to round 7. I'm not going to do a section for the medium and the long legs because they are the same exact pattern. The only difference is the medium legs that you'll make 2 of go a single crochet from round 6 through 9. So you're adding 2 more rounds of single crochet. So you'll follow the same exact pattern, but from round 6 through 9, you're just gonna single crochet all the way around. Then for the long legs, you're gonna make 4 of these. You're gonna add on a few more single crochet rounds. So from round 6 through 11, you're gonna single crochet. The long legs have 6 rounds of single crochet. The medium legs only have 4, and then the small have 2. And I do have the written pattern, so it might be a little bit easier to just jump on over there and take a peek at it if you need to jot these down, or just take a screenshot of how many rounds for each leg. If you're liking that fuzzy leg look like I do, grab your super handy cat brush. I don't have a cat, but I have a cat brush. And you're gonna do these quick motions just to grab that yarn and fluff it out. You do want to be careful when you're working around the magic circle because you can pull that bit of yarn. I've done it before and it stinks because you can't really get that middle piece back in. So just be very quick and light and try not to get the bottom of that piece. You can brush for quite a while if you want it really fluffy, or if you just want a little bit of fuzz, just do a few quick motions. We're going to get ready for assembly, so we're going to get really comfortable with attaching pieces here. We have quite a few legs to attach. I like to start out with my short leg first. In my pattern it says to insert a needle between round 14 and 15 of the body, but let's just see whatever looks good to us. You can do any round that you'd like. That's just kind of a guideline that I like to give. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a pin because that's super helpful for me. I'm just gonna count and kind of see what my leg looks like there. I definitely recommend pinning your pieces in place before you attach them because it's really helpful to see how it's gonna look before you do all that hard work. And also remember you have that tiny divot in your foot, and if you can keep that on the bottom, that would be great, and if not, it's really not a big deal. Okay, I kind of like my foot right here, and I like to keep the end of my foot near the corner of my eye. So I'm going to grab my yarn needle and get this going. Weave your yarn into your yarn needle. And then I'm not very elegant when I do this on video, so I'm going to try my best to have you see what I'm doing. Since I have my short leg pinned on this round, I'm just going to move down around for attaching. I'm going to go up through a stitch of the body. I'm going to pull that all the way through. And then I'm going to go down a stitch of the leg. So I'm going to go right through here. Then I'm going to go through another stitch up through the body. You know, I'm just going to take this pin out. It's kind of not helping. Okay, we're going to go up through a stitch of the body. And then I go down through a stitch of the leg. So there's really only 2 or 3 stitches for me to go through. I'm going to go through 2 stitches of the leg. I'm going to pull that all the way through. So I don't like when my legs have these little bits that are sticking out. So what I'm going to do is go up through the body once again. I'm actually going to end up going right through that same stitch. And then I'm gonna grab this little corner bit here. It's not actually a stitch, it's like a side stitch. And I'm gonna pull that all the way through. If you don't mind your feet hanging a little, then just leave it at 2 stitches, but I like to attach that little side bit to keep it in place. Now I personally like to make a knot for my pieces, but you don't have to do this. You can just weave your yarn right through. But to show you guys, I like to go up through a stitch right next to my leg. I like to make a loop and then go behind my loop. You know this, we've done this a lot. And then like seesaw this knot shut so you can get the knot as close to your leg as possible. And then I just weave in my yarn. So once you weave that in, you can go ahead and snip that off, and then there it is. There's your first leg. So now we're gonna grab a medium leg, and you kind of want that little divot on the bottom. And I'm just gonna line this up right next to my other leg. I'm gonna get my yarn needle ready. And we are gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna go 1 row down from where I have it. I'm gonna go up through the body. And then I'm going to go down through the leg, going through 1 stitch. Then we'll go up through the body, just moving over a little bit. And then down through the leg. Kind of get a little caught up right there, but just find your stitch. I'm going to move over and go up through the body one more time. And then I'm going to grab this corner bit here because I want to keep my leg attached pretty close. And then I'm going to attempt to just make my knot as we go. You can also do it this way where you make that loop on your last go around and then you tighten it and weave it in. It takes 1 step out of going all the way through and then making your knot, so you can also do it that way. Okay, so that one is attached. I'm gonna weave my yarn all the way through. And then I'm gonna grab my long leg. Moving on to my long leg, we're gonna attach 2 more legs and they're both gonna be long. I'm gonna find my divot and I think it's here. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell which side has that little decrease. Sorry, I'm a little off camera here, but all I'm gonna do is line it up right next to my other foot, get my yarn needle all set up, and then I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna go through a stitch of the body or the head, whatever you wanna call it, and then I'm gonna go down through the leg. Don't worry if one side looks different than the other. My spiders look different all the time. I think on this one it ended up kind of having one funny leg, but it gives it character, and I love that about amigurumi. So don't try to be a perfectionist. I mean, you can be if you want to be. I'm pretty much a perfectionist, and I have had to throw that out the window with crochet because I just feel like it's inevitable that things aren't going to be exactly the same. And that's okay, and that's what makes it super cute. Okay, I'm going into that little corner stitch. I'm going to try to make my knot on that last stitch just to avoid one more step. And once again, if you don't want to make that knot, don't worry about it. Just weave your yarn in really, really well. Cut off that piece, and then we're going to grab one more long leg. We're going to do the same exact thing on this leg. And because where this leg ends up on the body, it kind of juts out a little bit. That's totally fine. So I'm going to grab my head stitch here and just pull this up. Go down through a stitch of the leg and then up through a stitch of the body. At this point, you're like a pro at assembly, so I'm not even worried about you. And I hope you're not swearing at me yet either. If there's a way that I can find without attaching anything in crochet, I would totally do it. And I know there's a book like that, and I have tried to make a pattern like that, and I found it so difficult that I just said, okay, forget it. I'll just attach my pieces. Okay, so here I didn't make that knot. I'm going to pull this tight, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab just a little bit of yarn here to make that knot. Weave in your yarn. And then give that a little snip. I have all faith in your assembly gifts and abilities, so I'm going to fast forward the other side. You can still get an idea of what I'm doing, but it'll be going a little bit quicker. You can see my back leg sticks out a little bit more. I could have probably attached my front leg a little bit closer to my eye, but you know what? It's okay. Yay, we're done, you guys. Did you survive your assembly? Sometimes it's tough. Those feet don't always go on as we expect. So here is our finished spider without the bow, and then here is the one with the bow, and she is the one that has her feet brushed out a little so you can see the difference. You can see what you like and what you don't like. If you'd like to make this bow, I do have a separate video on that, so I will link that down below. And here are our cute little friends. If you want to add on a pin cushion like me, go ahead and make one of those and let me know who you're gifting this to. If you're making a pin cushion, if you're making one for yourself, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys for joining me on this crochet along. I appreciate it. If you'd like to see more crochet alongs, please subscribe to my channel where I have those and tutorials coming up weekly. And please head over to yarnsociety.com for free crochet patterns.